This is the most important job in the world. It's the toughest job in the world. You should be willing to campaign for every vote. You should be willing to debate anytime, anywhere. I think it's an interesting juxtaposition where we find ourselves. And, you know, I have been willing to do all of that during the entire process.
Hillary Clinton ducking a 10th and final debate with Bernie Sanders in California. Despite those comments back in 2008, she just turned down an invitation from Fox News. But was that a smart decision? Joining us now, our Democratic political panel, Fox News contributor and bureau chief of Talk Media News, Ellen Ratner, and Democratic communications strategist and director of Franklin Forum PAC, John Neffinger. Thank you both for being with us this morning.
Sure.
So we'll start right there. Ellen, I'll begin with you. Was it wise for her to turn down this debate opportunity?
Well, she's obviously looked at various polls and decided that it was better for her not to debate. Otherwise, I think she would have. However, I believe in the democratic process, and I think she should debate.
John, what do you think?
I mean, debates are great, and they've had a lot of them. If you go back to 2008, an even more contentious primary that was actually close still at this stage, the last debate was the middle of April. So here we are, late May. Basically, mathematically, this thing is over. And so I think accepting a debate at this point basically just gives hope, not only hope, but really the wrong impression about where we are at this stage. At this stage, we know who the nominee is going to be. The issue is, how do we conduct ourselves for the rest of the primary? Everybody should get a chance to vote. Nobody's asking for Bernie to step out of the race. Some people are, but no official nothing. People are happy to see him go through to the convention. They just want him to be on the Democratic team, not undermining the person we know is going to be our Democratic nominee.
But Ellen, what about an opportunity to maybe work or change some of her likability numbers? I mean, this forum, this debate would have given her that opportunity also to bring over some of Bernie Sanders supporters in the general election.
Well, there's two issues. One is her likability factor and her ability to win in the general election. But the other is for how the Democratic Party is going to exist. And even if she was the nominee by, you know, all of the delegates, I still think a debate would be useful, because Bernie Sanders is bringing in a group of people, younger voters, et cetera, and I think they need to hear both sides or many different sides.
And John, how do you think Bernie Sanders would have handled that debate?
I mean, look, we've seen a lot of debates over the course of the spring. Bernie Sanders hasn't said that much new for several months at this point. I do think, though, Ellen has a point. It's a good thing. Frankly, the debates have been some of Hillary Clinton's best moments. You get to see her unfiltered. You get to see her talk about the issues and her real involvement with the issues. And what's more, the media covers them straight. So I do think in some sense it's a bit of a lost opportunity for Hillary Clinton as well. But nevertheless, sort of pretending that there's still a primary happening when this thing is kind of done at this point. You understand why it's time to move on and focus on the general at this point.
But that is not happening yet, and there are some big players, some big Democrats. We were talking about this earlier this morning, who have not endorsed anyone yet. That, of course, includes President Obama, Vice President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren, Al Gore, California Governor Jerry Brown. Can they change the game at all, or do endorsements even matter at this point? Ellen, I know that we had a statement that came in overnight from President Obama. He was in Vietnam. He was asked about this, and he kind of skirted around the issue, and he said, to take a phrase from Bernie Sanders, that democracy can be messy. Ellen?
Well, yes, democracy is messy, and Bernie Sanders has said that. We know that this is not run as a dictatorship, thank God. And I want to say that, look, you know, even if we have a presumptive nominee right now, it is important to really get these endorsements later when there's a general election. I don't think they're necessary now. We have one more set of elections in 2 weeks, and afterwards we'll get endorsements.
And John, very quickly, your response?
Yeah, I think the endorsements generally don't change a lot of votes. That's what you see. But what they do get is media What I think you'll see in the fall, though, to Ellen's point, as soon as we're really officially wrapped up with a nice little bow and Hillary is our nominee, you're going to see all these people coming in off the sidelines. You're going to see President Obama and Joe Biden hitting the trail for Hillary Clinton. And I think you're going to see Elizabeth Warren having a lot to say for folks who've been supporting Bernie Sanders all along about why it's time to come together.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting where we keep talking about unity and the unity problem with the Democratic Party. One or two of those folks right there, I think that they could probably unify the party now. Thank you both for joining us, Ellen and John.